That's good. 1 second. I had to restart the program.
Need any help? iPad.
Yeah, we can go.
Looks pretty good on the website.
We can go.
Did you watch any football on Saturday?
Yeah, I watched North Dakota State, North Dakota.
All right,
You know,
we can
his
go.
defense usually gives them problems, but it didn't this weekend.
We can go whenever.
Okay, well, let's get started. It's good to be in game week. Last week, I think, was a productive week for us. We had good practices, got some guys healthy, got some young guys in the mix. We had some fun with it, and I think last night we had our first preparation practice for Liberty, and the morale of the team is definitely where you want it to be, and we're excited about the challenges of playing Liberty. We had a very good game against Montana. I'm thinking that they'll be coming in highly ranked as they've earned that, and you know, the challenges are definitely there, but I think it's a challenge that we're looking for, just playing quality team like that and see where we stack up. So we'll open it up to questions.
You know, what stands out in particular about their offense and their defense?
Well, offensively, they're led by their quarterback, and right now he's the active FCS career leader in passing in the country, so he's played a lot of football. He's the trigger man. He makes the offense go. They have two quality running backs, both seniors that have played a lot of football, that have gained a lot of yards for them, and they have some receivers that are very good. One's a preseason All-American, and a couple young guys that are going to make their mark. So, you know, overall offensively, you got to be able to defend both the run and the pass. Defensively, they're very athletic. You look at their numbers on paper, they look probably a little undersized, but what they do well is they run around very well. So their secondary is athletic. They do a good job in defense of the pass. They're up front, gets a lot of pressure. One of the reasons their run defense looks impressive is they have had a lot of sacks through the first 3 games, and they have an individual that's the all-time leading sack leader for both Liberty and for the Big South Conference. So they got some athletes that can play. Then you look on special teams. They have a preseason All-American kicker returning. Their punter returns, their long snapper. So they're about as solid of a football team as you'll come across.
What were the biggest positives for you guys to come out of the bye week?
Well, the biggest positive, number one, is just get everyone healthy. So now we feel good about you know, where we're at physically. I think it was a good mental break for us. The loss to SEMO definitely hurt. That took a couple days to put that one to rest. That's behind us now, and I do think that the guys are definitely focused on the challenge in front of us. They're excited about the challenge in front of us, and you got 9 games to play. So within that is where the season lies. So that's what we're focusing on.
You know, how is this type of game good preparation for the Missouri Valley Conference season, just facing this quality of an opponent?
Well, Liberty is a Missouri Valley type team, so it's going to prepare us well. We've got to be playing at a high level, and that's our biggest challenge. We're playing good football, so if somebody's going to tell that, you know, we're not playing good football right now, that's just not the case. We just got to put the game together. You know, we got to find that extra play to close a game out. That's our biggest challenge. We had our chances to beat Indiana. We had our chances to beat SEMO. We didn't do it. We could easily beat 2-0, but we're 0-2. So now we got to find a way to get to 1-2.
Did you think you had to restore their confidence a little bit during the off week?
No. Again, the numbers speak for itself. We're having success. You look at our numbers offensively, defensively, special teams. It doesn't take hard. It's not hard to look and find success within the program. So the thing that's frustrating is when you're -9 and the turnover ratio, you're just not going to give yourself a chance. So the confidence factor, it's not a situation where we don't think we're capable of playing with anybody. We just got to take care of the football. We got to make sure we're not our own worst enemy, and that's the challenge.
I don't disagree with you, but when you've really done more to lose the games than the opponent, I mean, isn't that fair to say you've been your own worst enemy?
That's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm saying. You look at numbers. I mean, we're running the football. We run the football 4.9 yards per carry. I mean, we're throwing the football. We're having success passing. We're having success, defensively. We're doing things that indicates that we can be a good football team. Now we just got to do it, though. And right now, the one number and the only number that just jumps out at you glaringly is that turnover ratio, because everything else that we've done statistically has been good enough where you should win ball games. So confidence, you're talking confidence, the guys see that. I mean, it's not something I have to make up. I don't have to create any illusion of grandeur here. It's, man, let's go out and take care of the football and play the game we're capable of doing, and we're going to be pretty good.
You know, Dale, they only have one turnover so far in the season. Is there something that you see on film that gives you confidence going into this week that you guys can create turnovers against the Flames?
Well, each game presents itself, and again, it's the creation of turnovers. I mean, you work on it. You just gotta, when the opportunity's there, you gotta make the play. So that's the bottom line there. And then you just can't turn the football over. I just think we went through a stretch there that is abnormal. It's not something that I've ever gone through in all my 31 years of being a college coach. I mean, but things happen like that. It's tough to explain sometimes when you hit a stretch. So, and each game will have its own uniqueness, and that's what you got to be ready for. That is adapt. It may be a game based on turnovers. There may not be any turnovers by any team, and it's just going to be played in the trenches. So the game will develop. We just want to make sure that we give ourselves a chance to win it by playing our game.
Clearly, is our offensive is their offensive scheme similar to ours, or do they not have the read option like we do?
They're not as aggressive with the read option. Now, their backup quarterback, they will have him come in from time to time, do a wildcat version, but their quarterback, he's looking to throw. So they're going to rely pretty much just on the backfield to carry the ball, not as much with his own read concepts.
How do you account for their 5 sacks that Montana put on them? Is it just because of their offensive line being young, or what's the problem there?
You're talking about Montana getting 5 sacks on Liberty? Yeah, and it was the nature of the game, kind of going back and forth, and Montana's pretty good with what they were doing. They brought some pressure. The pressure concept was the change. Montana was down 17-0, and then after that they started bringing some pressure, and that's when you started seeing more of the sacks. They picked up their level of play, and again, the quarterback, he's patient. He will sit in the pocket. He will wait to see where the receivers are. So he's not a guy that's going to get out and run around a lot.
You know, the numbers against Montana for their offense were pretty one-sided, but would you say, as a whole, are they a pretty balanced offense?
Well, they want to be balanced. I mean, every offense wants to be balanced, but you look at their numbers. The numbers of the run game probably hasn't been as impressive, but you look at West Virginia had a big say with that. You play Delaware State. You can't put too much into the numbers with that game. That was a game that they handled them, fairly comfortably. And really the one game where you see them at a level where it's going to be a true measurement is the Montana game. And there they did have some success running. But the sacks, anytime you look at a run game, you always want to look at the minus yardage, because that's will kind of indicate to you, did they have success running the football with the running game, their true run type plays, or is the number skewed just because there's 5 sacks in there that makes the numbers look a little less than what they are.
Did Liberty get most of their sacks against the backup quarterback who had never played a down, and he came in the first quarter middle first quarter, and their top quarterback who threw for 480-some yards against Montana. Did that have something to do with them getting the 7 sacks?
Well, that's another thing that didn't help Montana, losing their quarterback. Their quarterback is pretty good. He's the one that led them to their win over North Dakota State. But then the backup came in. He did a good job. It wasn't a obvious drop in the level of play that the backup quarterback, he's a junior, he was a transfer from Idaho. So he's a capable kid as far as throwing the ball around. But again, they have a pass rusher, as I indicated earlier, that's pretty special, that has set a school record and conference record, so they do have some good speed off the edge.
Do they move him around a lot, or will he be facing up with Worth?
Well, they can put him on either side, but he'll be an edge rusher.
In the first half especially, Montana ran a lot of those read option style plays that Liberty just completely swallowed up. Do you believe that's because of their athleticism in that front 7, or is there something you see that you can exploit there?
Well, again, you look at how many times the quarterback carries. So sometimes those read option plays really aren't read option plays; they're design gives. And that was the tough thing that Montana was having early on, was just getting the run game going. Later on, they had a little more success with it. It'll be a chess match. The thing that Liberty did a very good job. They adapted to the down and distance. Anytime they got them in the long passing situations, they really pinned their ears back and got after them. And you just don't want to be in a second long, third long against a good defense, and Liberty's in that category. So the run game will be very important to us. We have to have some success with that to make the offense go. So, but we do have a number of schemes that we like, that we think will allow our guys to find that one-on-one matchup or that read that we're looking for to hopefully create some space.
Can you comment on the emotions surrounding this week? You're coming off a bye week. You got your first home game this week, and it's also the Blackout for Cancer game.
Yeah, no, it was last night, our first practice. Normally we don't practice on Sunday, but it was good. It was a good practice. The focus was there. And when you see the focus all the way from your scout team up through your seniors, I mean, that's encouraging. Our scout team, I thought, did a great job of just going out there and trying to give us the best look that they can. And so that's usually a good indication that the focus is where it needs to be. And then you put on the fact, first home game, a team like Liberty coming in that's going to be highly ranked, coached by Turner Gill, who's a football legend at the college collegiate level, and Blackout Cancer game. There's going to be a lot of emotion surrounding this game.
Yep. Coach, when Mike McElroy came to you, I guess it would have been four and a half years ago now.
Long time.
Yeah, a while ago. I mean, this is obviously the 4th year of the game. Did you ever, when he first came to you with the idea, did you ever expect it to grow into what it has and just all the money raised in the cancer center?
Well, the thing there, when Mike came to me, we knew there'd be a lot of hurdles to even be able to do it. And that was the thing, that we had to clear many hurdles by the NCAA just to get permission to do it. And then once we got the clearance, and that was the thing that was probably more surprising than anything else, when we got the letter from Roger Redding saying that you have permission to do this on a 1-year basis. At that time, it was just granted at a 1-year basis, and so then we had to reapply again, and then it just kind of became an annual thing for us. But it is surprising. We thought this would probably be just a one-shot time that you can do it, and now it's turned into a tradition that I know a lot of people look forward to this game.
Does the game mean any more significant to you personally or any of your staff at all because of the cause of it?
Well, anytime Blackout Cancer, everyone's been affected by cancer. I mean, I don't know of anybody that doesn't know somebody that is battling cancer, has died from cancer. It's just I personally, I lost my father. Don't like talking about it, but I'll do whatever I can to support the cause.
Does this year have a different feel to it at all?
It's very, I mean, there's a serious side to it when you realize what we're trying to do with it, and I'm not saying it's a motivational thing, it's just different. It's keeping the game in perspective more than anything else. There is a bigger cause out there than just the football game that you want to be a part of, and because of that, you just try to do what you can do. If we can raise some money here playing a football game that will help cancer research, let's do it.
Have you personally had any fans come up, maybe that have been affected by cancer, use the new cancer center, come up and say anything to you just about their appreciation for this type of game?
Yeah, we get letters, you get pictures. This is a big deal for the families that purchase these jerseys. They'll get their picture taken with the player afterwards, and that'll go up, in their living room or wherever they put the jersey on display. And that's what I tell the players too. You kind of become a part of that family's. Become a part of that family. From here on out, they'll always remember that you were the person that wore that jersey in that game, and that's a pretty special connection.
Except for the turnovers, Ioannati's having a great year.
Yep.
Did he learn anything different about his play or how he can correct things as far as turnovers in looking at his film from last week?
Well, he just forced it. I mean, he was forcing everything. It's just he needs to be more aware of what's going on, and he's capable of doing that. His strength is his weakness. His strength is the fact that he's fearless out there. He's not afraid to take chances, and that's also where his weakness is. He has to have that time where, hey, if you got to read to give it, give it. Don't try to force something that's not there. If it's a throwaway, make sure that we're throwing it away and not putting the ball out there where it can be interception or trying to force something in down the field that we don't need to force. So those are all very correctable. I like his game right now. I think I'm very confident in Mark Ioannati and what he can do for us, and I'm confident too that he'll be a much smarter football player in this game.
What's the best part about the first home game of the season?
Being at home. Road games are fun, but it's everyone loves playing a home game, and to have it in late September, it's just strange. I think even the campus kind of feels like there's something missing. You just need that home college football game on a campus in the fall. That just kind of makes everything complete, and that gives the students that college day feeling, and that's why I just hope that the fans come out and be a part of it. It's an experience that people will remember.
Coach, how important is this game? Obviously, it's to avoid starting 0-3, but also it's going to be the game before you start conference season.
Well, it would be a tremendous boost, to get a win and feel good about the team that you have and what you're capable of going into conference play. Conference play is going to be as competitive as everyone expected it to be. And right now, I think our game is capable of being at that level, but we got to show it. We got to do it. So this is another important game that we got to show up and play our game and get that win. So we're very focused on winning this ball game.
You expect to have Marquise back, obviously, this week?
Marquise has been cleared, so he will be playing.
How about Guerin? Guerin's
Leonard
fine?
will be, so right now he's listed at number 2, but really he could be at number 1, so you'll see him play quite a bit.
And your own quarterback, Dale, how do you feel about the rotation? I don't know if McIntosh was available at CMO, but you didn't use him. Do you still like using
Something that we
3?
had talked about where we need to have McIntosh more involved in the schemes that we're doing, and we've already started that preparation, and I won't go into the details of how.
I mean, DeSomer too, or do you want to
Somer's always-
shorten the rotation?
Yeah, he's at the receiver position, so it's very easy to incorporate him into the schemes. It's just with McIntosh, you gotta, how do you make it a smooth transition where it doesn't disrupt something that you're doing offensively? So that's the trick.
In your running backs, I don't think Perkins has a carry yet. Do you plan to use him more? Has he been injured? Or why
Well,
hasn't he been a
part of
bigger
that
of
is
it?
just to have depth at the backs. If we got a running back running well, he's gonna get the majority of the carries, and you're not gonna worry about who's getting what touches and whatnot. It is a long season. There will be times where running backs will get banged up, so that's why you need the depth that we need there. And you also will see him involved in some special teams type functions.
And I know you were confident in your receivers going into the season, but how happy you've been with some of the plays they've made first 2 games?
Well, very pleased. You know, you look at some of the young guys. I think they're living up to some what people had hoped to see. Jimmy Jones, he made some great catches against Indiana. Darrell James, and that's a name too. I should mention. Darrell wants to make sure that everyone's not Darrell, it's Darrell. So make sure that the media takes notice of that.
Have people been calling him Daryl?
No, everyone, even our at the highlight show.
Darren called him Daryl?
Yeah, I didn't have a chance. I didn't want to correct him on the air.
I don't know, I think it's pretty.
He just happens to
I
be
think it's
sitting
pretty-
over here.
I think it's pretty obvious, but that's okay.
But anyway, especially we got to get the PA guy.
Yeah.
I think every place that we played at has missed on that.
On, going back to defending the running game, have you seen anything on film that needs to be corrected as far as that from the Indiana and the SEMO game? How we can, is it scheme or how, how are they getting their yardage?
Well, and that's where, the Indiana, there was a couple breakdowns there. We were disappointed in just not being sharper.
Breakdowns in the offensive,
In our
defensive
fits,
line?
in our defensive fits.
Wow.
So anytime you're defending run, it's all about fits. Everyone has their gap responsibilities that they need to be at. They gotta go through a progression read. And we were much better against SEMO with that. You gotta give the running back some credit. He had some nice runs where he just made some yards. So that's where, when you look at how you're doing with the run defense, you try to, number one, there's talent that's you got to take into account, but then there's also, are you sound in all your fits? We were much better with our fits against SEMO than we were Indiana, and that's something that we'll need to continue to improve upon.
Coach, what have you seen about Israel? Lamprakis has had a lot of injuries, had a pretty big role for you so far this year.
No, and Israel's one of those players too that's been very patient. He's been waiting his turn. His turn is now, so he's stepping up. He's always shown us glimpses of what he's capable of doing. He's a very talented athlete, and it's good now that he's having that opportunity to be a contributor.
How's Seymour progressing as a left tackle?
Good. He's one of those players with him and Reed Sealby. This past week was important, because now they could really get a lot of reps and work on just learning our offense. And the good news is they've had a tough time cracking the starting lineup just for the fact that we have a pretty good group of 5 working it. But the thing that's positive is that those 2 are pretty good too, and so our depth at the offensive line is very encouraging. So they'll continue to keep working hard, and they'll be available at any point in time to put in the game.
Did we recruit Sealby when he was in high school at all, or is that too far back?
No, it wasn't too far back, but he was not, actually he was a wrestler.
Right.
That ended up winning in fact, the Iowa kind of came back on him late and liked what they had seen. And so that was kind of, when he signed with Iowa, that was kind of a last-second deal there.
Anything else?
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.